Section 1 of Billy and Bunbury. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Patti Cunningham. Billy and Bunbury by Royal Baking Powder Company. Bunbury is a tasteful town beside a syrup sea, where sponge cake fish and waffle whales disport themselves in glee. Bunbury's streets are good to eat, of that make no mistake, for Bunbury's streets are made, you know, of finest marble cake. Its fences are of pie crust, and its houses built of buns, with frosted roofs and raisins on the most important ones. Bunbury has fine doughnut trees beside a chocolate fountain, and just outside the town you'll find a giant layer cake mountain. Its people are too cunning and too sweet for any use. There's spry Popover, Johnny cake, and dainty Charlotte Russe. The moon's a muffin, and the sun a hot cake warm and mellow. Its gentle rays make Bunbury folk a tempting brownish yellow. And when it snows, marshmallow covers everything with icing. The houses and the people, too, look even more enticing. Bunbury's folk oft gather round ye coffee ring, and tell the news about young Johnny cake, who's courting Patti Shell. Bunbury's vaults are filled with gems, for Hun Bun, the Bun Boy King. He has gems to burn, but doesn't. Burnt gems are not the thing. The reason why this little town's so gay and sweet and nice is, because each cake and cookie there was raised on Dr. Price's. Now one day, as the cookie clock in Taffy Tower tolled, Flapjack, the King's own messenger, into the castle rolled. "Your bunship," puffed the little Jack, "I bring surprising news. There is a little lad near here, too skinny for his shoes. He will not eat his breakfast, and he will not eat his lunch. He's lost his taste for baseball, and completely lost his punch." "What?" spluttered Hun Bun, pushing back his sparkling candy crown. "Ho! Fetch my dog! Ho! Fetch my cane! I'll catch a train to town." And when his cane and dog were fetched, he hopped aboard the train. And in a way I scarce can guess, and even less explain, arrived at little Billy's house, he found the boy at tea. "Hello!" cried Hun Bun, "howdy do, and likewise howdy dee." Then Hun Bun's dog began to bark. You've heard of him, perhaps. He's full of ginger and of spice. His name is Ginger Snaps. "Why, who are you?" gasped Billy, nearly falling in his plate. "I'm Hun Bun," smiled the little chap, "the cookie potentate. Go on and eat your supper, boy. 'Twill make you strong and fat, and fit to hit a punching bag or swing a baseball bat." "Not hungry," sighed the little lad, and scowled upon his meat, and frowned into his glass of milk. "There's nothing fit to eat." "Dear me!" mused Hun Bun, while the pup licked Billy on the ear. "A boy as thin as you could not be president, I fear." And hopping on the table, he began to walk around. He peered into each plate and dish. Then even Hun Bun frowned. And leaning on his pep'mint cane, and looking really hurt, the Bun Boy King called dolefully, "Why, where is the dessert?" In rage he shook his candy cane, as will such angry kings, and roared, "It's plain to see your fare lacks most essential things. No cakes, no cookies, and no buns, no biscuits, not a tart! None of the things real fellows like. Why, Bill, it breaks my heart! It seems your mother does not know what youngsters like to eat. It surely is high time, I think, that she and I should meet." Soon, hearing all the rumpus, Billy's mother came to see to whom her son was talking, and what all the noise could be. When Hun Bun spied her, he remarked in accents sharp and biting, "No wonder that your boy won't eat. His food's so uninviting. Your son wants cookies, buns, and cake, and other things that mothers make." Bill's mother, looking apprehensive, remarked, "But cakes are so expensive." "Not so," quoth Hun Bun, drawing forth a brightly colored book. "Use Dr. Price's baking powder hereafter when you cook." Then Hun Bun gaily doffed his crown, and with a bow quite comical, he told her, "You will find it good, and very economical. But now we must depart, and so we'll bid you a good night, for Bill and I are going to try to find his appetite." And while the puzzled lady grasped the cook book in surprise, the pup and Bill and Hun Bun disappeared before her eyes. Next instant they were on a train, and hieing in a hurry across a golden corn bread plain, to little Hun's Bunbury. The engine on its licorice rails cream puffed along so fast, the peppermint poles and chocolate cows went simply whizzing past. And when they reached the station, all the tasty cakes and tarts were out to welcome Billy, bless their little sugar hearts. The Royal Bun Band, headed by a pound cake drummer man, came tooting down the central street, and after it there ran a flock of Scotch and Dutch cakes, 20 cookies and a roll, while all the orange icing bells began to peal and toll. Soon our Billy was no bigger than a cookie man himself, for Hun's magician Devil's Food had changed him to an elf. "We're going to the circus first," said Hun Bun in his ear, "where you can see the animals and all the freaks so queer." The little cracker animals cavorted round the tent, till the air was full of cracker dust and cheers and merriment. How Billy laughed, while Ginger barked and Hun Bun clapped with glee. "Come on now," cried the mighty King, "there's other folk to see. Here's Captain Jelly Roll, who drills our biscuit policemen brave, but we don't really need them, for good cakes like us behave." The more of Bunbury's sights he saw, the hungrier he grew, and yet to eat up Hun Bun's friends would never, never do. While no one looked, he slyly took a piece of pie crust fence, and next he ate a pretzel gate. It tasted just immense. They stopped to watch a cake walk in the little frosted square, where all the best and richest cakes were stepping it for fair. The Scotch scones danced the Highland fling, the Dutch cakes danced the clog, and Hun Bun led the Bun Ballet, assisted by his dog. Young Billy felt so gay himself, he danced with Sally Lunn. He never knew a cake walk was such a lot of fun. But every passing minute Bill grew hungrier, until Bunbury's king was worried. "I'm afraid that little Bill will bring this cake walk to an end and start a cannonball. He'll eat my favorite subjects up, which wouldn't do at all." He murmured to a tea bun, "Though I certainly rejoice to see he's found his appetite, just order my Rolls Royce." Soon up it rolled. A chocolate drop was at the cookie wheel. "Jump in," cried Hun Bun. "It is time for us to leave, I feel." "Now you may eat the extra tire." It was a doughnut brown. "Oh, thank you, Hun," cried Billy, as they sped from Bunbury town. They reached home very quickly. By the magic route they took, and there they found Bill's mother, absorbed in Hun Bun's book. "Here's Billy," shouted Hun Bun, "with an appetite so hearty, he gobbled up a fence and gate, and nearly ate the party. The things I saw all looked so good, I longed to eat my fill." "Oh, Mother, how I wish that you could make me some," cried Bill. "I never could," she started, but this speech was not allowed her, for Hun Bun cried, "You can if you use Price's baking powder." So saying, Hun gave her a can of bright and sunny yellow. "With this you easily can make good things for this young fellow. And, Madam, 'stead of coaxing boys and girls to eat, 'tis wiser to add a cake or cookie as a little appetizer." From the day that he met Hun Bun, little Bill began to gain. His appetite's tremendous, and the reason's very plain. His mother makes him good things, of which he eats his fill, for everything she puts in them is good for little Bill. Dr. Price's baking powder and King Hun Bun's wondrous book have made of Billy's mother an exceedingly good cook. He eats his lunch and breakfast, each meal he finds a treat. The other fellows watch their step when Bill comes down the street. Cakes like he met in Bunbury his mother makes him now, and if you want some too, this book will tell your mother how. End of Section 1. Recording by Patti Cunningham. Section 2 of Billy and Bunbury. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Patti Cunningham. Billy and Bunbury by Royal Baking Powder Company. Section 2. The Recipes. Cocoa Raisin Muffins. 1 3/4 cups flour, 2 tablespoons cocoa, 5 tablespoons sugar, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon cinnamon, 4 teaspoons Dr. Price's baking powder, 2/3 cup raisins, 7/8 cup milk, 5 tablespoons melted shortening. Sift together flour, cocoa, sugar, salt, cinnamon, and baking powder. Add raisins, then milk slowly to make a smooth batter. Add shortening and mix thoroughly. Put 1 tablespoon batter in each greased muffin tin and bake in moderate oven, 400 degrees, for about 20 minutes. Make 16 muffins. Muffin surprises: 1 cup flour, 1 cup graham flour, 3/4 teaspoon salt, 4 teaspoons Dr. Price's baking powder, 1 cup milk, 1 egg, 3 tablespoons sugar or molasses, 4 tablespoons melted shortening. Mix together dry ingredients. Add milk, beaten egg, molasses if used, and shortening. Stir until smooth. Half fill each greased gem pan. Drop in center a stoned date, a teaspoon currant jelly, candied cherry, or other fruit. Add teaspoon of batter and bake in moderate oven, 375 degrees, about 25 minutes. Makes 12 muffins. All measurements are level. Flapjacks: 1 3/4 cups flour, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 3 teaspoons Dr. Price's baking powder, 2 eggs, 1 1/2 cups milk, 1 tablespoon shortening. Sift dry ingredients together. Add beaten eggs, milk, and melted shortening. Mix well. Bake on hot, slightly greased griddle until bubbles appear. Turn over quickly and brown other side. Serve immediately on hot plate with plenty of butter and syrup, or butter and cinnamon mixed with sugar. Makes 24 flapjacks. Flapjacks with rice: 1 cup boiled rice, 1 cup milk, 1 tablespoon melted shortening, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1 egg, 1 cup flour, 4 teaspoons Dr. Price's baking powder. Mix rice, milk, shortening, salt, and well-beaten egg. Stir in flour and baking powder, which have been sifted together. Mix well, adding more milk if necessary to make a soft batter. Bake on hot, slightly greased griddle until bubbles appear. Turn over quickly and brown other side. Serve immediately on hot plate with plenty of butter and syrup, or butter and cinnamon mixed with sugar. Makes 24 flapjacks. All measurements are level. Donuts: These donuts are very wholesome and excellent for children. They do not contain any shortening and should be fried very carefully in fat at just the right temperature, so that no grease will be absorbed. They can be served plain or sprinkled with powdered sugar after they have thoroughly drained and cooled. 2 eggs, 3/4 cup milk, 2 3/4 cups flour, 1 teaspoon salt, 4 teaspoons Dr. Price's baking powder, 1 cup sugar, 1/2 teaspoon nutmeg or cinnamon. Save 1/3 cup of measured flour for board. Beat eggs until light. Add milk, then add this liquid to the dry ingredients which have been sifted well together. Roll out 1/4 inch thick on slightly floured board and fry in deep fat, 365 degrees to 375 degrees. Drain well on unglazed paper. Sprinkle with powdered sugar. Makes 30 donuts. All measurements are level. Sugar cookies: 1/2 cup shortening, 1 1/2 cup sugar, 1/4 cup milk, 2 eggs, 1/2 teaspoon grated nutmeg, 1 teaspoon vanilla or grated rind of 1 lemon, 3 to 4 cups flour, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 2 1/2 teaspoons Dr. Price's baking powder. Cream shortening and sugar together. Add milk to beaten eggs and beat again. Add slowly to creamed shortening and sugar. Add flavoring. Add 2 cups of measured flour sifted with salt, baking powder, and nutmeg. Add enough more flour to roll easily. Roll out thin on floured board. Cut with any fancy shaped cookie cutter. Sprinkle with granulated sugar, or put a raisin or nut in the center of each. Bake about 10 minutes in moderate oven, 380 degrees. For chocolate cookies, put a side portion of the dough before adding all the flour, and add 2 tablespoons cocoa to each cup of cookie dough. Makes 4 dozen cookies. All measurements are level. Butterscotch curls. 2 cups flour, 4 teaspoons Dr. Price's baking powder, 2/3 teaspoon salt, 4 tablespoons shortening, 2/3 cup milk, butter, brown sugar. Sift dry ingredients. Add shortening, mixing it in with a fork. If liquid shortening is used, add with milk. Add milk to make a fairly soft dough. Knead slightly and roll out 1/4 inch thick. Spread well with creamed butter and brown sugar. Roll up as for jelly roll. Cut in 1-inch pieces. Stand these on end in well-buttered gem pans, or in small greased muffin rings, and bake in a hot oven, 425 degrees, about 15 minutes. Makes 12 rolls, or 22 if baked in small rings. Peanut cookies. 1 cup flour, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 2 teaspoons Dr. Price's baking powder, 2 tablespoons shortening, 1 cup chopped peanuts, 1/2 cup sugar, 1/4 cup milk, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon lemon juice. Sift dry ingredients together. Add melted shortening to beaten egg. Add milk and lemon juice and mix well with the dry ingredients to make a soft dough. Add peanuts. Mix well and drop with teaspoon on greased pan. Bake in moderate oven, 400 degrees, about 20 minutes. This recipe makes about 4 dozen small cookies and requires 1 quart of peanuts. All measurements are level. Biscuit tarts. 2 cups flour, 3 teaspoons Dr. Price's baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1 tablespoon sugar, 1 egg, 2 tablespoons shortening, 1/3 cup milk. Sift together flour, baking powder, salt, and sugar. Add well-beaten egg and melted shortening to milk, and add to dry ingredients to make soft dough. Roll out on floured board, 1/8 inch thick. Cut out with medium-sized biscuit cutter which has been dipped in flour. Then, taking a smaller cutter, cut half of these rounds again. Brush the large rounds lightly with melted butter. Then take the outer rings and lay on top of the large buttered rounds. Put on greased baking tin. Put a teaspoon of jam in each tart and bake in hot oven, 475 degrees, for about 10 minutes. The small centers can be brushed with butter and baked in the same manner and served as little tea biscuits. Makes 10 tarts with 10 tiny biscuits. All measurements are level. Party cakes. 1/2 cup butter, 1 cup sugar, 2 eggs, 2/3 cup milk, 2 cups flour, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 3 teaspoons Dr. Price's baking powder, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. Cream butter. Add sugar slowly. Add beaten eggs. Sift flour, salt, and baking powder together. Add a little at a time, alternately with the milk to the first mixture. Beat thoroughly. Add flavoring and bake in greased small gem pans in a hot oven, 425 degrees, about 20 minutes. Cover with plain white frosting. Makes 18 cakes. For chocolate cakes, add 1/2 cup cocoa mixed with 1/2 cup cold water to the above recipe. Makes 24 cakes. Cover with the following meringue. Jelly meringue. White of 1 egg, 1/2 cup currant or other jelly. Put egg white and jelly together into bowl and beat with egg beater or wire whip until stiff. Spread on tops of cakes. All measurements are level. Birthday cake. 1 cup butter, 1 1/2 cup sugar, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon lemon extract, 5 eggs, 1/3 cup milk, 2 1/2 cups pastry flour, 2 teaspoons Dr. Price's baking powder. Cream butter thoroughly. Beat in sugar a little at a time. Add flavoring and yolks of eggs beaten until pale yellow. Add milk, beating in a little at a time. Beat egg whites until light. Sift flour with baking powder 3 times. Add alternately small portions of egg whites and flour, and stir mixture until light and fluffy. Bake in greased loaf pan in moderate oven, 350 degrees, about 1 hour. Cover with following ornamental frosting: 1 1/2 cups granulated sugar, 1/2 cup water, 2 egg whites, 1/8 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon flavoring extract, half lemon, half vanilla. Boil sugar and water without stirring until syrup spins a thread, 238 degrees. Add slowly to beaten egg whites. Add salt and flavoring. Beat until smooth and stiff enough to spread. Put over boiling water, stirring continually, until icing grates slightly on bowl. Spread on top and sides of cake. All measurements are level. End of Section 2. Recording by Patti Cunningham.